My name is Jessica Williams. I'm 34 years old, and I'm about to tell you the story of how I raised my sister's children for 10 years and what happened when she came back and tried to take them away. I was 22 years old when my sister knocked on my door. It was late at night. I was asleep. I had just started my career. I was just starting my life. My sister, Michelle, was standing there. She was crying. She was holding two children. She looked desperate. "Jessica," she said, "I need your help. I can't do this anymore. I can't take care of them. Please, just for a little while. Just until I get my life together." The children were 2 and 4 years old. They were scared. They were confused. They didn't know what was happening. I said, "Michelle, what happened? What's going on?" She said, "I'm not ready to be a mother. I thought I could do it. I can't. I need you to take them. Please. Just for a little while." I took the children. I didn't know what else to do. They were my niece and nephew. They needed someone. Michelle left. She said she would be back. She said she would call. She said she would figure things out. She never came back. She never called. She never asked about her children. She just disappeared. The first year was the hardest. I was 22 years old. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no experience with children. I had no money. I had no support. I learned quickly. I learned how to feed them. I learned how to change them. I learned how to put them to sleep. I learned everything. I worked at a coffee shop during the day. I worked at a restaurant at night. I worked 60 hours a week. I was exhausted. I was stressed. I was alone. I didn't complain. I didn't ask for help. I didn't call my parents. They didn't call me. They were busy. They were busy with Michelle. They were busy with her life. They didn't have time for me. My mother called me once. She said, "Jessica, you're doing a good thing. You're being a good sister. You're being a good person. I'm proud of you." I said, "Mom, I need help. I need money. I need support. I can't do this alone." She said, "Jessica, you're strong. You'll figure it out. You always do." The second year was easier. I had figured out a routine. I had figured out how to survive. The children started to adjust. They started to feel safe. They started to feel loved. They started to call me mommy. I didn't correct them. I didn't know how. I was the only mother they had ever known. My parents came to visit once. They saw the children. They said they were beautiful. They said they were lucky to have me. They didn't offer to help. They didn't offer to take them. They just left. Michelle called me once. She said, "Jessica, I'm coming back soon. I'm just figuring things out. I'll be back soon." She never came back. The third year was the best year. The children started school. They made friends. They learned to read. They learned to write. They were happy. They were healthy. They were thriving. I was working full-time. I was going to school at night. I was building a future for us. I was determined to give them everything they deserved. My friends told me I was crazy. They said, "Jessica, you're giving up your life. You're giving up your youth. You're giving up everything. You need to think about yourself." I said, "They're my children. They're my family. I'm not giving up anything. I'm building something. I'm building a life for us." I loved them. I loved them with everything I had. The fourth year was the year I started to lose hope. I started to realize that Michelle was never coming back. I started to realize that I was their mother. I was the only mother they had ever known. I started looking into adoption. I wanted to make it official. I wanted to be their legal guardian. I wanted to make sure they were safe. I wanted to make sure they were mine. My parents said, "Jessica, you can't do that. They're not your children. They're Michelle's children. You can't just take them." I said, "Michelle is gone. She's been gone for 4 years. She never calls. She never visits. She never asks about them. I'm the only mother they've ever known. I'm the one who raised them. I'm the one who loves them." My parents said, "Jessica, you're being dramatic. This is not your decision. This is Michelle's decision. When she comes back, she'll want her children back." The fifth year was the year Michelle came back. She called me out of nowhere. She said, "Jessica, I'm ready. I'm coming home. I'm going to take the kids. I said, Michelle, you can't. They've been with me for 5 years. They don't know you. They think I'm their mother. You can't just take them. She said, Jessica, they're my children. They belong with me. You had them long enough. It's my turn. I said, Michelle, you left them with me 5 years ago. You never called. You never visited. You never asked about them. You don't know them.
You don't know what they like.
You don't know what they need. You don't know anything about them. She said, Jessica, I don't care. They're my children. I want them back. I'm coming to get them. Michelle showed up at my apartment. She was wearing nice clothes. She was wearing makeup. She looked like she had everything together. She said, Jessica, where are they? I want to see them. I said, Michelle, we need to talk first. We need to talk about what's best for the kids. They've been with me for 5 years. They're happy. They're healthy. They're thriving. You can't just take them away. She said, Jessica, they're my children. I have a right to see them. I have a right to take them. You can't stop me. The children came out of their room. They saw Michelle. They didn't know who she was. They said, Mommy, who is that? Michelle said, I'm your mother. I'm your real mother. I've come to take you home. The children started to cry. They said, You're not our mother. Jessica is our mother. We want Jessica. Michelle said, Jessica is not your mother. I'm your mother. You're coming with me. I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to protect the children. Then I got a call from a doctor. His name was Dr. Robert Thompson. He was a pediatrician. He had been the children's doctor since they were babies. Jessica, he said, I've been keeping a file on your sister. A file on Michelle. I've been keeping it for 10 years. I think you need to see it. I went to his office. He handed me a file. Inside was everything. Records of Michelle's visits. Records of her appointments. Records of everything. The file was thick. It was full of papers. It was full of reports. Michelle Williams, age 20, gave birth to daughter Lily, left the hospital 2 days later, did not return for follow-up appointments. Michelle Williams, age 22, gave birth to son Marcus, left the hospital 1 day later, did not return for follow-up appointments. Michelle Williams, age 23, visited the clinic once, did not return. Michelle Williams, age 24, no visits. Michelle Williams, age 25, no visits. Michelle Williams, age 26, no visits. Michelle Williams, age 27, no visits. Michelle Williams, age 28, no visits. Michelle Williams, age 29, no visits. Michelle Williams, age 30, no visits. Dr. Thompson said, Jessica, your sister has not been a part of her children's lives. She has not been a part of their care. She has not been a part of their health. You have been the one who brought them to their appointments. You have been the one who made sure they were healthy. You have been the one who loved them. I read the entire file. I cried. I couldn't stop crying. I realized that I was their mother. I had been their mother for 10 years. I was the one who had raised them. I was the one who had loved them. I was the one who had sacrificed everything for them. Michelle was not their mother. She had never been their mother. She had only given birth to them. I went to a lawyer. I said, I want to adopt them. I want to be their legal mother. I want to make sure they're safe. I want to make sure they're mine. The lawyer said, You have a strong case. You've been their caregiver for 10 years. You have proof. You have the doctor's file. You have everything. We went to court. Michelle was there. She was crying. She said, They're my children. I gave birth to them. They belong with me. I said, Your Honor, I have raised these children for 10 years. I have been their mother. I have loved them. I have sacrificed everything for them. Michelle has not been a part of their lives. She has not been a part of their care. She has not been a part of their health. She is not their mother. I presented the doctor's file. I presented everything. The judge ruled in my favor. He said, It is in the best interest of the children to remain with a caregiver who has provided love, stability, and care for the past 10 years. The biological mother has not been a part of their lives. The adoption is granted. I adopted the children. They became my children. They became mine. Michelle didn't fight it.
She didn't contest it.
She just disappeared again. She never called. She never visited.
She never asked about them.
She just disappeared. The children are 12 and 14 years old now. They're healthy. They're happy. They're thriving. They know the truth. They know that I'm their mother. They know that I chose them. They know that I loved them. They call me mommy. They always have. They always will. If you've ever been the one who raised someone else's children while they disappeared, I want you to hear something. You didn't deserve what happened to you. You didn't deserve to be used. You didn't deserve to be taken advantage of. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be appreciated. You deserve to be loved. My name is Jessica Williams. I'm 34 years old. I raised my sister's children for 10 years. And I'm still their mother. If this story made you feel something, drop a comment below. Tell me the word that describes what you feel. Share this video with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you for listening to mine.